truck drivers this hour demanding a 15% wage increase, and they don't want foreign truck drivers to be employed. They've marched through the streets of Johannesburg and Pietermaritzburg earlier today to hand over a memorandum of demands to the Road Freight and Logistics Bargaining Council. Well, let's find out what's happening in KZN. Giving us an update this hour is my colleague, that's eNCA senior reporter Dasen Thathiah. Dasen, very good afternoon to you. What are you picking up there where you are in relation to the truck drivers' demands?
Praden, right now the truck drivers are playing a waiting game here. That's because the intention was, after that march through the streets of Pietermaritzburg, was to come here to the offices of the National Bargaining Council for the road freight and logistics industry to hand over a memorandum, much like their counterparts have been doing in other parts of the province. You mentioned some of the demands, the 15% wage increase, the fact that they don't want foreign nationals employed. Those are just some of the issues on that memorandum. But unfortunately, the office was closed. They were not able to hand over that memorandum. So instead, they had to wait. They have called the officers and asked them to send someone here. Actually, by about now, it was about an hour ago that they said that they expect someone to collect that memorandum in about an hour. So that's where we stand right now. I want to bring in one of the members of the All Truck Drivers Forum, Mr. Spibo Mtebu. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, I've looked at some of your items on the memorandum. We know the two that I mentioned, but there are also other things like no vaccinations. At some point, you're also asking for no dash cams or no cameras in the cabin. Maybe just explain some of those concerns and why they are important or important enough to be on the memorandum.
Yeah, speaking with this people, what I want to say about the cameras, it's right if the cameras are outside of the truck, because if it's inside, it's violating our privacy. Because we as drivers, you see, sometimes when we are driving, it's hot inside. Sometimes, yeah, we have to take out our clothes. So now that's why we said the cameras are not good for us inside. But outside, yeah, we don't have a problem. Yes.
Yeah. So again, this memorandum now needs to be handed over, but I was told by your colleague earlier that this marks the end of the strike. But we've also received reports that some trucks are being stopped, some trucks are being turned away. You know, there is a bit of tension on the ground. How are you managing that as leadership to ensure that the situation doesn't get out of hand?
Yeah, on that point, so it's hard for us to there are some opportunists who are using this opportunity to make their own things so that we can look bad. So our members, they understand what we are doing. We are not forcing anyone to stop, but all those who need this thing to be successful, like an increment of 15%, how can we increase with 5%? Yes, and this thing of foreign nationals also, we won't leave it outside. But there's, as I'm saying, there are some opportunities who are using that opportunity to do their wrong thing so that it will be giving the bad name to us.
So realistically, that demand, particularly for foreign nationals not to be employed. At the moment, we have government, I mean, we just had the Labour Minister talking about the fact that foreign nationals, in effect, they need to be accommodated in the country in the sense of balancing our constitution with also the rights of these foreign nationals. I'm just paraphrasing. So that means that it's not likely that something like that will happen very quickly, even if it does happen. How are you going to deal with that process, or how are you going to deal with that after the 7 days? Because are you expecting employers to come back and say, or the bargaining council to come back and say, look, we'll get rid of all foreign nationals?
Okay, you see, this thing started a long time. It's not from today or from yesterday. I think it's about now 4 to 5 years. We're demanding, we wanting that South Africa must be given chance. We don't hate the foreigners, but what we are saying is that the job that are non-skilled in the country must be given to citizens. How long are we gonna be preaching one thing? Now it's about 4 to 5 years.
Sure.
Yes. So now bargaining council is another key for this thing, because they are the one who are busy registering them.
Yeah.
In the skill that is not scarce in our country. We don't hate the foreigners. They must stay in our country, but as long as they won't do the job that is that will cause this mess in our country, we are hungry. It is not nice to watch people from other countries working in our country and folding hands and waiting for 350.
Yeah.
That is a grant from the government.
Mr. Mthembu, just at the end of it, I just want to know, what is the next step? Let's assume then that that someone actually doesn't collect your memorandum here. What happens? How long are you willing to wait?
Yeah, okay, we still have to consult our General Secretary and also the chairperson, what is the next step. But our aim is to wait until they come, maybe even the whole week, yes, if they don't come, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. That's one of the members there of the ATDF. So the problem now is that they haven't been able to hand over that memorandum, but hopefully a representative does come through, because as they've said to me earlier here, they said that's all they really want to do. They just want to hand over the memorandum, and that would be the end of the strike, and wait for those 7 days to get a response.
Thank you very much. Dasen Thathiah there with that latest news from the ground involving truck drivers in a part of KwaZulu-Natal.